starting from a database, of which a database does measure four things. One being a database allows you to, first of all, create space in the simplest form. Like you create, you create space where the data is going to sit. So you create the database, you read from the database, you can update the database or delete. So for example, if you look at the final app, this is what is happening. You can create data, you can create entire data. So which means I can add the page. Maybe I can say block B. If block B is a page, for example. So if I say block B, and then block B is a cat, I can add this to the database. So you see block B is here. Now, the second thing I can do, I realize block B is not really a page. And then I want to update this name. So I can update this name to maybe something else. I can say block C. If at all, maybe that is not realistic, I can say, I can update this name to maybe pet 1. If that is a realistic name, and I say, okay, this pet is a dog, and then I can simply hit on update. So you will see pet 1 here instead of block B. Then I can delete this data. I can delete. So if I delete, you see, it has gone. I can delete others like lab 1. I on the interface is already reflecting. It's already somewhere. It's already residing in the database. So what I'm going to quickly do is to show you how this is exactly happening. So if we go to the console.firebase, so I need to show you exactly what is happening on the side of the console where this data has been written to. So if you go there, you find that, for example, if I click on like the data we created, for example, Jerry, we created. So like, let me create another one. So I already have this installed on my phone. So I want to create, say, another page. So what I can do, I can say, let me call it courses page. Then it's a dog, and then I add it. So once that is done, you will see it being written to the database. Let me look for, because I have very many of them here. I have, let me see. MIC, Jerry, courses pet, yes, that is the one I've just created. Courses pet, dog. So you can see this kind of interaction. So this is exactly what happens when it comes to Firebase. Which means you can do your back end of an application using Firebase. You can create, you can read, you can update, you can delete. So if I delete, you will find that the courses pet has gone because I've deleted it. I can delete MIC. You see, automatically I have not done anything. I'm far from my computer. I can delete. Let us see this one. Cut 1. I can delete it from the user side. I've deleted. So it automatically overrides the action I've given it. So this is something real one that I would want to show you. So given that this is our last session, there are coding practices. So how do you move very fast when you are doing this kind of thing? Like I said, if you are now working in a team, you are 4, you are doing this kind of things, then what happens is that somebody can work on Firebase, but there are coding practices. How do we have very many files, maybe in a Flutter project? So that is still to do with an architecture, but it's very important. And I'm going to also show you such kind of coding practices. So let us start with the Firebase project, how this can be integrated, how you can add Firebase to your project. So you can start from this side of the console, or you can start from the editor, where you first of all create maybe a brand new Flutter project. So if I come here, I want to use a new window, and then I create, I go to view command palette, then I say new Flutter project. I could share this with the online community so that you're able to see what is happening. So what happens is that we can start from here. We can start from here by first of all creating a brand new project that we want to add the Firebase to. So yes, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a brand new Flutter project by just simply going to view. Like I said, you can do this on command line, or you can do it in graphical. View command palette, maybe Flutter, new Flutter project, an application, and then I give where I want to store it, and then I give it a name, maybe Firebase demo, Firebase VDSC MOOC. So I want to demonstrate Firebase. So I just hit enter. Flutter will generate for me the project. So once that is done, you can start from here. Having done this, there can be an approach where you first write the entire UIs the way you will do it. You design the interfaces, and then later we now look at the components which need to be stored in a database. So once I have this project, then this is where I want to demonstrate how to structure your work into different Flutter DAT files. So you have like very many DAT files in one project. How can team members work on this kind of project? So once you have created this kind of project, then let us go to console.firebase.google. So let us go to this console. So while here, what happens is that the only requirement for this is to have a Gmail account, of which all of us do have. So if you have a Gmail account, you come here to Firebase console. So it will have your Gmail there, you are logged in. So here we can create a project. So we want to create the database this side, and then we link it to the project we have created locally in our Flutter editor. So you just hit on add project. So this is the complete one. I've shown you. This is the complete one. I just showed you. So we want to repeat how this is done so that you get to know how this kind of project can be created. So you add a project. So while here, you enter your project name. So it can be if you are working on a startup, maybe for farmers app. So I can say Firebase demo. Firebase demo, like that. So this is the name of my project. So once that is done, you hit continue. So if you are if you have a laptop, you can actually do this as I'm also doing. It's fine. So in Firebase, you can have analytics. So it's like if you have if the app has sold, if it was a e-commerce app, it has sold things, then this Firebase can give you graphs automatically. That's why you see free unlimited reporting. It gives you a report, crash, free users. Then it has the user segmentation and the targeting across Firebase products. So here, you can either enable Google Analytics for this project, which is recommended for production, but because we're not doing production, we can skip it. So it means we will not be able to access all these free unlimited reporting analytics, given that this thing is not going to be deployed right now, that we want to know how users are using it. So we want to just know how to integrate and have a database that can do the four things I talked about earlier. So which means once you have disabled this, create project. So this is, you have to do it online, of course. It will create, first of all, to go to Firebase console, you have to be connected to the internet. So it will create the project for you. So that is what is happening right now. So it will be good if you guys are also at this level. And if you're not at this level, you are notified. So while here, the new project is ready. So I can press continue. Very simple. So it is going to go to specifically that project I've just created. So while here, you can see it has so many things. Like I said, we can have an authentication. We can have an authentication. We can have the real-time database. We can have storage, hosting, machine learning, storage, all these functions, we can have them. Firestore database, see? So Firestore database is the one we're interested in. We can do the rest with its storage, hosting, all those things. But we're interested in the Firebase database. So once you are here, you go to settings. Because like we said, we go to project settings here. So you hit project settings. Like I said, we are really interested in targeting some platforms. So if you look at this, there is the iOS, then there is the Android, there is the web. So we're interested in 3 platforms at a go, which means we need to integrate Firebase in those all those 3 platforms. That's what we want to do. Such that if somebody is using an iPhone and the data is being written from iPhone to this database, it works. If somebody is using Android, it also works. If somebody is using the web browser, because Flutter allows us to target all these platforms at a go. So now, if we look at this, we can start with the iOS. How do we integrate iOS? Because in our project we just created, there is the iOS file. How do we integrate iOS? So we can hit on iOS. So once you are there, you have this company name. So this thing has to come from the app we just created. So now we have to go back. We have to go back to our editor. So I'm going to go back to VS Code where our project is. And then we get that name. We get this project name. It's com.company.app name. It's already there in the project. We're just going to copy and then paste. So how to find it? So we need to go there. So stop sharing a bit. So I'm going to go back to our Visual Studio VS project. So in this VS project, yes, that's the right one. So in this VS project, we want to locate the file name, that company, that we want to register the app. So how do we, there are very many ways. Somebody can use maybe the Grado. Somebody can come to Android folder. If you're on Android, you go to app, you go to SRC, those are resources. Then you go to main. Then from there, you can go to the manifest, Android manifest. So Android manifest, the package is here. com.example.firebase gdsc mock. So you will find something like this based on the way you named yours. So you just copy this. That is one way. So you copy this. This is what we're going to provide to Firebase, the other side. So we're going to provide this to Firebase. So that is the one way. Somebody can get it from, I think Grado can also give you that same, let me see. Yeah, it's here. For Grado application ID, it is here. You can just click on build.grado. You go to Android, and then it has build.grado. And then you just get this guy from here. com.android. No, not that one. It's file. Yeah, you go to Android app, Android directory app, then it has a build.grado file. So while there, you copy this. The same thing, the names will be the same as the one in the manifest. So here it is called application ID. So you just copy this. Once you have copied it, and then we are going back to the console. That is the first thing you do. So let us go back to the console. So we are now back to the console. So when you are here at the console, we now paste that name here. Let me see. Let me refresh this. iOS. So we provide it here. So it's trying to give some error. Let me see. Let us say Android. And then I provide this guy. Okay, fine. We can start with this. It will automatically override the other side. So com.example.firebase.gdsc mock to provide that Android package name. So we are here. Let us do Android. Then we move to iOS. So here you select the platform. So let us start with Android. So Android, and then you paste this guy. After pasting that guy, then the app nickname. That one is easy. You just, if it is a farmer's app, you can say farmer's app. This one is not a unique ID. So you can just say maybe a GDSC Firebase app. Anything you can write there, it is optional. So once you have done that, then you register the app. So we are on step 1, register app. So we have registered the Android package name. And then we have added a nickname. Then what we have done is what we are to do now is just to hit on register app. So if we register app, so it will try to sync the app. You see, it's done. So it generates a Google. It generates a JSON file. This is JSON file here. So you need to download that one, which we are going to add it to our application. So you need to download this Google Services JSON. So you download this. Once you have downloaded it, then we are going back to our project, the one we created. So going back to the project, we want to now add this JSON file to that project. So the instructions are here. You go to Android. So for Flutter, you are going to the Android folder, and then there is the app folder. So in the app folder, you place this JSON file. So that is what we are doing. So we are going to go to back to our editor. So while here, yes, we are here. We want to go to app. So we are in Android. We are in Android. Then we go to app. This is the other subfolder. So we are going to add that JSON file, the one we downloaded from Firebase after registering the project here. So I can just simply reveal this in Finder, or you can drag and drop. So I will reveal this in Finder, and then I want to drag this file here. I want to drag this file I just downloaded, as you can see. This file here. I want to drag this, and then I add it to the other one. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just dragging this JSON file, and then I put it in the app. So app is here. I open that folder, and then I just drag this JSON file, and then I put it right there, and that's done. So you can drag and drop either way. So we have done that. So it means if I go back to my project, which is right here, and then I look at app, you see it now has this JSON services file we downloaded is now here. So that is done. We now go and complete the process. So here, I've added this app is registered. I've added the JSON file, which allows this project to communicate with the database. So that is done with Android. So if we go back, let us go back to the console. So moving back to the console, right here. So what is the next step? The next step, you click on next, add the Firebase SDK. So these are instructions they give you. There is registering the app, adding the file, adding the file that our project is supposed to use to communicate to. Then there is now telling our project, use this, use what we have added. That's what we want to do. Like I said, there is a file in our project called pubspec.yaml. That is where you specify to any Flutter project that I've added something and use it. So that's where we're going to specify those kind of things. So what we are going to do, under dependencies, you need to add this part under dependencies in the pubspec.yaml. You can see it in the project build.gradle. We are going to add this. These other ones are already there. That is the beauty with the Flutter. These are all there. Even these ones are all there. So we are going to add it first, com.gradle GMS Google Services. This is the latest version from what we have just generated. So you just copy this by hitting this. You already copied the clipboard. So once you copy this, it even tells you go to project build.gradle. Don't go to project app model. There are two Gradle files there. This can confuse. So what happens is that some people paste what is supposed to be here in the wrong one. No, it is saying you go to project build .gradle. So let us go. I've copied this one. Copy this one, this path. So I'm going to go back to our project. So we are back here. I'm going to go back to the project. So while here, what I'm supposed to do is to, what I'm supposed to do, let me just share my screen with the online team. This one, okay. So here, like from the instruction we have just seen, we are going to go to our project file. This is Android, not the app. So under Android, you can see it has a build.gradle file. If you also go to app, it also has a build.gradle. So you have to be careful. So we are first starting with the one of Android. So if you are here, Android, so we want to add this path, this you have seen. We want to add this under dependencies. So just look for dependencies. So you come here, you come here, dependencies. So you scroll down this here. Then you just put the cursor here, hit enter, new line. Then you paste, you have specified the path. So that is the first thing we do. So that is done. And then we can go to, let us look at the next one. So here, I'm going back to the console. So what does console say? Console says, now you look at the next model. So the next model is, we are looking at it. We have finished this. These are already there. These are not useful. These ones you see here, they are not useful. They are already there in the project. We only look at the green. You are going to the app level, build.gradle, which means you first go to the project, which is Android, and then you go to the app model. Inside Android, there is a folder called app. Now that is where we're going to also add this file. So you see, we have a dependency here that we can add. Import the Firebase BOM. So we're going to add this. Then there is also apply this plugin. We're going to put it down. So we can start with this one. You copy this, and then you go to, so let us go back to our project. So I've copied it. Let me share this. So we go back to our project. Yes, we're here. So we're back to our project. So we are going to app. We are going to the app. We are going to this app Gradle. So we are initially here. So we are going to app Gradle file. So we are going to specify, we are going to add the apply plugins inside here. You see? Apply plugins. We add it at the last. Then there is another thing we have not added. So let us go back to the console. So if we move back to the console, back to the console, let me share. So we're back here. So we just added this plugin. This plugin is the Google services. So we want to add this import Firebase view in the app model, not in the project model. So we're going to copy this one. We add it in the app model. This one here. We're going to add this in the app model. So let us do that. Let us do that implementation, this one. So we go back to our project. Dependencies. This is a, yes, Gradle file. So like I said, let me first add and then I talk about it. Let me first come here. I talk about it. Yes. So I've done something, I've added that. So I talked about one thing, which is normal common. What happens is that, so you see the other class path we were supposed to add in this other Gradle, I added it here. I did that purpose because it's something people normally do. So common. Instead of adding this file in the right place, like you come here, if you look at, let me just share this with the online group. While here, what happens is that people often add this class path. If you look at the console says add this path in the project build.gradle. So most people what they do, which I've done to show you, is they add this in the Gradle file for the app. So that is a source of problems. To give you a lot of issues. So this is supposed to be in this Gradle file. So it's supposed to be here. Android build.gradle. So you come there and then you paste this guy here. So don't make this kind of mistake because you will find that the things we have done here, they are not working for you. Why? That's such simple mistake. And to realize that kind of problem, given that you have not had experience, for example, I'm looking at an absolute beginner, it will be hard. The person can even fix this for the whole day. So avoid this kind of thing. That's why I had to do it that way to show you. So once you have done that, we can go back to our console. We are almost done. So if you look at what is in the console, if you look at what is in the console here, console, what is now left here? It says we have done this, next. So you click next. So once that is done, continue to the console, continue. So we have registered. So we are here. You see now, it is live, it is working. So we have the DSC Firebase app. So we have the Google, we have the Android app registered. As simple as that. As simple as that. So, like I said, in Flutter, there's one thing that this console does not show you. In Flutter, if you want all what we have done to now work, we have to now go to pubspec.yaml, and then we have to tell Flutter that, you know what, we have integrated Firebase to the project of Android. And then when we are writing any Firebase code, then you should be able to realize that this data has been written to a database somewhere. So that is done at the YAML file. We use the YAML file. We do that in the YAML file. So we're going to go back. And then how do I know these dependencies? So what you do, you just say Firebase dependencies. Flutter. So if you Google that, it will show you those dependencies that you're supposed to add. So there are so many, given that Firebase has so many services. So for example, here, if you look at this, we have the Firebase core. This one is a must. If you have any added dependency for the Firebase core Flutter SDK, that one is a must. Whether you are using the Firestore, whether you are using the real-time database, whether you are using machine learning, whether you are doing push notifications, that one is a must. So we need to add this dependency to the pubspec.yaml file. This one. Then for our case now, we are the added what? Cloud Firestore. So we also need to add Cloud Firestore. So you need to always check this at the time of doing the project, given that this can always update, they can change. So they can change. So you just need to search it like that. So it means if you look at this, we are going to go to the pubspec.yaml file, and then we are going to look at dependencies. So what we need to copy here is just this. Now this is the actual integration I talked about. Yes. I'm a bit fast. Okay, fine. So, like I said, yeah, there's a question on what is happening. So, like I said, we integrated Firebase already, but Flutter is not able to know that actually this service is there in the project. So, how do we tell Flutter that you have brought Matoke in the house? They made that food because she's not sure of the food in the building. So that's what is happening. We have put Firebase in our project, but now we have not integrated show the project that actually what? There is Firebase. So how do we do that? We are going to add the dependencies such that the Flutter SDK, the SDK is the bunch of UI toolkit. That SDK we downloaded earlier when we were setting up Flutter. Can we know that you know what? Firebase is already in this project. Anything that we are going to write concerning Firebase, execute it. So you need these dependencies I'm showing you here. So the first one is the Firebase core that we are going to add. So you come here, you copy Firebase core. So you go to the dependencies. We go to our project. So allow me go back to our project. So I'm going to go to our project right here. Then pubspec.yaml file is here. So it has a lot of things, but you just look at the dependencies. So for example, if I come here, you have dependencies, SDK Flutter. Even if you check on this site, you see it has Flutter, SDK Flutter, but we're interested in this. So we just go there, hit enter. It should be in line with the Flutter test. It will be in that line. No, not in dev dependencies, but in this dependencies. So I'm here. I hit enter. I'm in a wrong line. I extend it to Flutter. So it should be in line with that. So let me write maybe a comment here. I can say Firebase integration. So what do? I paste Firebase core. That is the initial one. Then the next one, is we need to add the services we want to use Firestore. So if you go back to this console, so you are going to get, there's even analytics, but listed in Cloud Firestore. So we need this. So you get this Cloud Firestore. You can still get to the auth if you want to authenticate. You can still get analytics if you had already added the other analytics in your app. So, but we want the two just to demonstrate. So you get this Firebase Cloud Firestore, and then you come back to this project. You just add it here, like that. Done. So what do? You save this. So it will run Flutter pub get in this project to get the what? To get the dependencies. So if you come back to the console, basically, like I said, in your production, you shouldn't be limited to whatever I've done. What you can do so many things. You can add the Firebase auth. You can add, for example, here, I told you, we can have what? This project can have what? It can have the authentication. Let me just click here. It can have a bunch of things. Authentication, it can have, yes, it can have authentication, it can have analytics. So it means if you are using analytics, you need to get this dependency. You also add it. If you need the Firebase Cloud Store, you get this. You also add it. So that is something we can do with our project. So moving on, we can, since we have now added, since we have added the Cloud Firestore to our application, so I can show you, say in the plugin this uses a deprecated version of the Android. So this is the warning, but there's no problem. So from here, we can go back to our main.dat. Maybe to give you exactly what has happened. So here, in the, let me say this. So here, in the console now, we have just added what? Authentication. No, we have added Cloud Firestore. This is Cloud Store database. If you click on it, you see this is how it looks like. That is how that is going to be written. This is the Cloud Store. Can even create. So we can create a database right here. That is the next thing we want to look at. We have now finished everything with the integration with the project. Now we want to create a database. So come back to the console, click on Cloud Firestore. So we create a database. So there are two approaches. You can create a database in production mode, or you create in test mode. But since we are not releasing this app, let us do test mode to see what is happening. So I'm going to create a database in the test mode. So I hit on this. So if you are doing it in test mode, of course, Google tries to cut some security features because it's a demo. Not going to have sensitive information. But for production, they will add you all the security features Firebase has. So I click next. So once I'm done, and then it allows me to choose the location. This is where the data center is. This information is stored in those data centers. So there are regions. So for example, this one is in this one is saying once you have chosen US Central, you will never go back to change that kind of information. So you can choose others. There are quite a number of them. So let us just do the default one. So once that is done, and then I click on enable. So it is creating the Firestore. Creating the Firestore. Creating the Firestore. So once that is done, then we are done. We cannot do anything. We cannot do anything. So have people been able to reach this level? Oh, people haven't reached here. So we're now here. This is the other interface you were seeing when we will put in data where the data was. Yeah, that is the database. That's how it looks like. So everything is here. Everything will be here. So are people at this level? Are you able to reach here? Because you need this. So once you're able to reach here, this will not change tomorrow. So it means if you are integrating Firebase into your app, that is what you do. Like you need to have the JSON file, put it in the app, then sync it, specify the spec of YAML. So now what next? The rest is now the normal coding. So I'm going to show some coding practices because that code I wrote in the morning, we could also write it. So we have how many minutes? Around 30 minutes to go. So I'm going to show you some practices to efficiently write code, and then how do we continue from here? From this point, how do we continue? So that's the one thing I want to talk about. Because if you look at the this finished app, basically what we have. So let us go back to our editor. So basically what we have is so basically what we have so we have an interface. We have already seen this. You have seen this before. You have just a simple interface. This interface has an app bar, and then this we have a list view. This is a list. It's creating a list, generating a list, and then we can navigate to a new page. Those are interfaces. We can do this before the integration. You have a page, then this page has the buttons, then it has, for example, and if we were to add the vaccination, maybe you can provide a date picker. These are just widgets that you can do in the UI. But now, behind this, there is one other thing which I need to show you. So the one other thing is, so for example, we are now to write this code to now link our project. We are to write this code to connect the interface which the user is going to interact with to the database, which we have now integrated fully on Firebase. So what happens is that to do this efficiently, I presume you are going to be working in teams. For example, if you are doing a hackathon or a project for a client, so it means you can allocate roles. So how do we structure this in the project? That is now what I want to discuss, while I will also look at the code I wrote this morning and I show you at the end. But I want to first show you the structure. So which means we can head back to the project. So we can head back to this project. So here, like I said, I want to show you a structure. So you find in a Flutter project, so like this is the generated plugin for Firebase. You see, we didn't create this. Remember, we created this project from scratch. So this is a generated plugin that we have added. It's generated for you. So it says we are not supposed to edit this. Do not edit. Ignore file directive. So you leave it like that. But now, in a real scenario, you are going to have very many. So we want to create those interfaces, and then we create some actions to link them to the database we have created, which is now fully running on Android. Now, what happens is that if you look at the Flutter project, like I said earlier, let me remove this. So, like I said earlier, we have a Flutter project. So this Flutter project, let me try to zoom. Okay, like that. So this Flutter project, currently, we just have a main file. Then as teams, we want other people to write the other interface I showed you about updating the page, the one which has the date picker, and then the one. So those are different. We can group them into different files, which means if I already have import package. If I already have this, if I already have this main method, now let me say main. So I'm going to do it very fast because you have seen this. This you have already done before. You have seen this before. So I'm going to be a bit fast. So I'm going to create, first of all, a class, maybe called the pets, the extends stateless. Stateless widget. I have the build method, then I return material. You can still do this if you sort of get on your machine. So if I have this already, which means what I want to do now, I have a title. GDS, so I can say GDSC mock, and then I put here pets like that. So what I want to do is to structure this interface I'm building in a way that so we can just provide the pet here, something like this. So we need to close this, terminate. Okay. So I want to structure this in a way that the interface where the list view is being built is residing in another Flutter file. So which means under this material app, I can have a home widget which takes a scaffold. So the scaffold will definitely have an app bar. Then this app bar guy, it has the title of our app. So app bar has a title. So the title can be text a text. So this text is say maybe like what we show GDSC pets, GDSC mock pets. So here, what I'm interested in doing is I want to structure this code in a way that, sorry, I'm in a different project. Okay, here. So I want to structure this code in a way that the body where this list view or the pet is going to reside, the body will be in another Flutter file, which means one of the teammates can actually write that code which that has the list view, the body of the application. And then another team member can write a Google Maps, maybe location, sort of location component. So those are in different files. So how do we do that? You go to the project directory. We are in, let me just resolve this simple error. So this is supposed to be, we're instance setting, the page class. So it is right here, like that. So that's done. So back to this. So we can have multiple Flutter files in a project. So here, you go to lib, and then there is this icon. This is a folder, this is a file. So we can add a Flutter file. Let us say the body of the application. So you say body dot that, like that. So a team member can write this, which means the team member is going to write the body of the application. So how does that work? You still need an import statement so that you can use the Flutter widget component. So import package Flutter. So we need a material.dat. So once you are here, so it means I can have my class. I've been assigned the task of doing what? Creating a list view. Or let us just have something on the body. So I can say class body. This class extends stateless extends stateless widget. So I can just auto complete this to save time. And then it has a build method. So what I want to do, just a simple one. So what I can do here, I can return a center widget, of which this center widget has some element, like it's centering some text maybe on the body. So, but what I want to show you is you can actually have the body written by one other team member of your group, and then we're going to link this to the main file and see how they work. Such that you save time when you are doing this kind of application for production. So here I have the body of the application, which is maybe, for example, we can just do a basic, we can have a child, one element. So this child will sort of maybe have a text. We can do a text. Maybe we want to just show something. Hello, GDS. It's GDSC MOOC final, maybe final festival. So something of this sort. So once you have this, so we now need to find a way of linking these two files. So how do we do that? What I'm going to show you how I've done it for the app we have just seen. So we now need to link these two apps such that they can communicate. That now the body is residing somewhere with somebody, other person has written, and then it is communicating to the main file. So which means what you have to do is you come to the main.dat file. So in the main.dat file, here, you need to import, you need to tell Flutter that, you know what, there is a file somewhere called body.dat, which we want to use the properties. So how do you do that? Very simple. So what you do, you just say import body.dat. So this import statement allows you to access a component from that file, unless those components are declared private. So I can have private variable declared, but I can access, for now, I can access everything from this body file, this one here. I can access everything from this body file. So that is what is commonly used, and you are going to see it in this other, in this production, in this code I wrote, where there are very many files. The same simple principle, but applied to almost all the apps people have ever written for these platforms. So that is one thing. You should always do it. You should always do such kind of practices. Use them. So here, that is precisely what I've done. Now, which means, for example, we are going to see. Let us first remove this. If I come back to the main, so if I comment this, maybe let me just remove it. You see the error we're going to run into. So this is scaffold. The scaffold has got, like I said, you can always highlight, you can always control save, and then or command save if you're on the Mac. It will align the code in a readable format, like the way it is here. So just save, it does. Or you can highlight all, and then you look at format document. If you click format document, if the code was disorganized, like was disorganized like this, and then I sort of do this, I format document, so it aligns it. You see, it aligns it in a readable format. So that is also another, just a basic thing, but very important. So now, while here, you can now easily tell where does the scaffold ends. Scaffold ends here. You see, here. That is where our scaffold has ended. So we have an up bar. So scaffold can also have what? A body. So if I say body, so in the body, I want to now use the body. I've written it in another, and it's a different file. So if I say body, and then I add a constructor to it, for example, like this, I can do this kind of thing. So the reason why it is accepted is because I had already put the import statement earlier. So it's like, for example, if I'm here to allow it, if I run this code, we're going to get an error because I've given a direction that there has to be a file called body that needs to be added. So for example, maybe let me say body one, like this. So it's an error. Now, if I want this error to be resolved, either I can create a class here, maybe class body one, something like this, which maybe extends stateless with it. So I can do this, and then that error will go. You see that error has gone. But now, what we did was to put this class somewhere. So for example, if I cut this, I can have this class in a body file here, like that. And then if I come to the main, the reason why it's not giving an error because I'd already imported it here. I just removed the code, but behind the scenes, it's actually being detected. So you need to add this import statement, import body.dat. So this shows that I can get everything from this body.dat file and then use it here. Otherwise, without that, this will not work. So we shall link this to our body class, which is reside in this other new body that file. So we have linked this together, which means, and now I'm going to show you, we have 10 minutes. I'm going to show you the actual code that you're going to receive after this session. So in that code, what happens is that I've written so many files, and I'm applying this simple concept I've just shown you, such that you can easily understand this. So let me just close this. I don't need to save this. So I'm going to go to this project that we demonstrated earlier. So let me let me just share this with the online community. So what happens here now, I want to use the principles. I want to explain the principles I've just talked about. So this is the interface. This is what you see when you see some. This is now this is the code for whatever you are seeing here. Let me cancel this. So I'm now looking at the code for this. I'm trying to look at, can I show you the structure I've just talked about? by looking at the practical demonstration that has been done right here in this app. So in this app, the principles, they are the same, standard. I wrote several .dat files, which means these .dat files, if I was working in a team, they would have been written by other people who would have collaborated to do that kind of work. So I want to show you now, because I've shown you how to do it from scratch, and then I want to show you how the code for this is structured using the principle I've just demonstrated. So going back to the editor, so we can go back to the editor. So here, now you see we are in the lib. In the lib folder, you can have different files. So for example, this is where our project started. So in this project, you see an import homelist.dat. So there is a file called homelist.dat, which means we're extending services or components from that file into, we're accessing them in this main.dat file. So if you look at that list for this. So if you look at this is the code. But how we have used it, just the principle I explained. I have to import that file here. So for Firebase, if you want to write functions that are already written, if you want to use the functions that are already written, so you need to import package Flutter core, Firebase core.com, .dat. So that allows you to do things like, so you find things like initializing the app, these methods, they reside in that package. So you just call it and then you use it as easy as that. So you will see very many files, but the logic is the same. One file can be called in another file. And how we do it is the same way I've just shown you. Some teams can do this app here. I spend around 20 minutes to do all this. Because in Flutter, for example, if you are writing a stateless widget, you can just type SPF. It will generate a bunch of that code. Or you write code faster. After some little experience, you will do that. But now, you need to know that this structuring can allow your team to easily finish an app for production in record time. So the logic is the same. The architecture is easy. How you structure it is easy. Now you have seen how Firebase can be integrated into your application. Basically, if you look at these things we have done, you can do the back end using Firebase, which I so much recommend, given that it's really efficient. And then the UI you can always do. And then the session we never had what? Slides. The reference is just Flutter.dev. So you can use Flutter.dev. So it's like if I want to know how to move from one to another, when I have to use it, just say, you can just say navigation, and the code is already there. But to use that code efficiently, you need to know this architecture. So the same way the code there is structured, the same way that explained. So precisely, by now, even though you have not, for example, someone who has not coded a lot of apps, the person can easily build apps faster in record time. So you are going to access this code. This code I'm going to give it to you. I will put it on the GitHub. Then they will definitely share the link with you. So yes, somebody will look at so we did this is the JSON file for that project. So we did JSON, we did the one, actually the one of Android is a bit longer. So the one of iOS, which I wanted actually to do also. So for the iOS, you will go to iOS, the runner folder. So that is where you will put what? That is where you will put the JSON file in this runner folder here. You are going to download the JSON file if you are configuring. If you come to console here, console, let us go back to overview of the project uh, here. So we have just done Android. So for iOS, it's the easiest. Actually, it's good that we have done the one of Android. So for iOS, you just get that file, you add it. There's no other configuration. That's the beauty with the iOS one. So you come here, then this is the Android. You can add the app. So if you add the app, you can actually also do the web. So you specify and web. These ones are very simple. These are 2 steps. For Android, there are 3. We have done the longer one. So you just add the app name. So you can even also set up Firebase hosting. I could share this with the online. So here, 2 minutes. So here, like I said, you can also add. You can also add the. You can also add the. Let me cancel this. You can also add the web. Add the app. You can also add the web. Even you can do. Let me see. Register Unity apps. These are games. So if you are doing games, you can also do this. And do Unity registration. So we can look at the web. So the web, only 2 steps. Only 2 steps. So you just add the app name, and then we are going to add the Firebase SDK. So you can say maybe demo, for example. Let me leave this app nickname. Then you register. It's very simple. So you can do that, given that you have been able to what? So this is how you do. You use some Node package manager, and they give you the instructions there. Your web app Firebase configuration. So you use this for. You just go to terminal, run this command in that project. So you are already using npm. Add this model, this. So this is very straightforward. So you can just do that configuration. So it means by the end of the day, you need to now try very many things with the Flutter Firebase. You need to do very many things. So basically that is it. And I will be glad if you have challenges, you can always email. If you have my WhatsApp number, you can always respond. So we can end there, unless there are questions. Some questions maybe one is answer. Yes. Yes. So the good thing with Firebase, actually it's rare for you to make mistakes, especially on the interface, because here, if you made a mistake, like